Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Without Having Kicked a Ball. With me as your host, yes, for the second week in a row, unfortunately for you guys, Sam Taylor. Good news though that my camera is broken, so you won't have to put up with my ugly mug. Somebody's face you will have to put up with though is my guest and the man whose channel this is on. Will, how you doing?
Oh, thank you, mate. Yeah, hello everyone, and yeah, let's get cracking. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to the show. So, unfortunately, Ben and Jordan are not with us tonight. Ben's nursing those dodgy hamstrings of his
Yeah,
that seem to have been a reoccurring injury. And Jord is, yeah, just busy at the minute, got work commitments. So, once again, you will not have your EFL guru.
yeah,
However, we will be doing a special show at a later date dedicated to the EFL, so
yeah.
bear with us. Anyway, on to um, tonight's show, and we've got a great show for you.
Yep.
Our three featured games, um, followed by the EFL results, and also uh, a couple of the major talking points linked into our games with the Premier League. So sit back, enjoy, and here we go. Should be a good show.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, on that note, we'll begin, and hopefully, we will not be exiting stage left anytime soon. But somebody who was exiting the stage, uh, bizarrely on Saturday, was Graham Potter, um, after being sacked by West Ham. Somewhat inevitable, probably. Very poor record since he's gone to
Yeah,
the
yeah. He's
Hammers.
not really done
Um,
anything there. Yeah,
not really waved his magic wand, but but yeah, your initial reaction to Graham Potter's departure and the man who was replacing him straight out of work at Nottingham Forest, but back in now with the Steely Irons to take over at West Ham. That is Nuno Espirito Santo. But firstly, your views on Graham Potter. Well,
Well, I mean, what a what a strange time. It was the timing. I think we all expected it, but why why was it done? Why was it done on the Saturday? It was a strange, very strange decision. Maybe should have been done in the week. And also, why on earth, if Graham Potter knew he was going to lose his job, why would you have him go in there doing his press conference? I think West Ham really have got that wrong, and they made an absolute cock up at that. Terrible decisions from Karen Brady and David Sullivan. They've got that completely wrong. Yes, Potter had to go. His position was becoming untenable, but yeah, the board have created a right hash of this. A real mess. Yeah, just awful.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I think to have Graham Potter sit there through his press conference pre the Everton match, which was on Monday night, so 2 nights ago, for him to sit there on Friday in his pre-match press conference, and to have to go through questions about the game and also being ridiculed by some of the reporters, which I'm not
Yeah,
a
and,
fan
and,
of
and,
at
and, and
all.
no doubt the press would have been asking, about his future as well. I just,
Yeah, I think it was wrong to do that, to put him through that, and then sack him the next day.
Well, exactly, yeah. So, and can I just clarify? I'm not having a go at Graham Potter. You know, he's obviously being professional, and great credit to him for doing this, doing the press conference. You know, business as usual. But no, the club got that absolutely wrong. That is the big errors I think from West
I
Ham.
understand. I understand them wanting to wait till they've got a replacement lined up. But what they should have done, if they didn't have that replacement, obviously they would have been talking to Nuno. But they didn't have that replacement in um, in Nuno on Friday, then they should have kept Graham Potter in situ for the weekend and then just sacked him on Tuesday or Wednesday this week.
Yeah, or the other option would be to cancel the press conference, so don't have a press conference, but then you're still giving the boot on the Saturday. Yeah. No, my issue is him doing the press conference.
Yeah.
Well, he presumably knows that he was going to get the boot. That is my issue, and that I think David Sullivan and Brady got that completely wrong. And you'd expect better. How many years have they been running West Ham? You should really expect better from them.
And
They've got
maybe
that
he didn't
wrong.
know he was going to get the boot there and then. Maybe he thought he had one more game in charge because I'm not sure he would have done that press conference if he'd have known he wasn't going to take charge.
Well, do you know that is a good point. But if so, again, the board have messed up. Not telling Potter until very late as well. So yeah, I don't. I think they just got it wrong, completely wrong.
And if they didn't have a replacement lined up, they still could have got rid of him last week and put somebody in interim charge or signed Nuno over the weekend,
Yeah, exactly. I just
like they did, but not having Potter having to do the press conference. But anyway, it is what it is.
yeah,
Football's
the handling was absolutely dreadful. Not the reason of him being sacked. The handling was just dreadful. They should be ashamed
yeah,
of themselves, all of them at the club. You've messed this
yeah,
up.
not great, not great.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on, you said it was inevitable. So
Yes.
in that um on that note, your thoughts on the man coming in, Nuno Espirito Santo, somebody we know very, very well
Yeah,
from his
from
time
Wolves
at
and Nottingham
Wolves,
Forest, and
was
even his
very good at,
ill-fated spell at Tottenham Hotspur as well.
yeah,
Um,
and then obviously very, very good at Nottingham Forest. But let me put a question to you here. Well,
yes.
West Ham didn't, as good as West Ham were under David Moyes, and David Moyes did a brilliant
Oh,
job.
of course he did, but he'd taken the
uh,
club as far as he could under his
Yeah,
tenure.
sixth and seventh. Well, I don't think they're ever going to get above that with this current ownership anyway.
I don't
Um,
know though. Slaven Bilic was manager, and they're still under this ownership though.
yeah, but he finished seventh. David Moyes finished sixth and seventh.
Well, yeah, but I suppose that was the best finishes that West Ham had between those two managers for a long
Yeah,
time, wasn't it?
yeah. But the point I'm going to say is West Ham didn't like, the fans didn't like David Moyes' style of play,
Yeah.
even though he was successful.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it me? Maybe my eyes lied to me and you can tell me something different. Nuno plays a very similar style of football, in my opinion, to David Moyes. Compact, but then will break forward quickly. Good
Does
defensively.
Nuno not play slightly attacking football though? I thought he got praise for the
Well,
style of football that he did at
he had
Wolves as
fast
well.
wingers. He had fast wingers at Forest, which
Okay.
allowed him to. But he is quite pragmatic, like David Moyes.
Right.
They won't dominate the ball. Um, they won't dominate the ball. like, okay, let me ask you another question then.
Okay.
What is the West Ham way? Everybody talks about the West Ham way, West Ham fans, but I don't know what the West Ham way is.
Well, I'm just trying to think. So obviously, I'm just trying to think of the West Ham managers I remember. So I think when I got back into football, it was Slaven Bilic. I think I vaguely remember Sam Allardyce's tenure. Um, I can't remember earlier than him. So I don't know. Obviously, David Moyes said his very tight, compact style. Manuel Pellegrini. I'm just trying to remember what his style was.
He tried to be more open, didn't he, in passing, but again, didn't really work.
Yeah. Um, and so yeah. To be honest, mate. So I'm not. I'm not sure. I can't
Yeah, and I
really.
think a lot of people, even if you go back further than, you know, you go back to Harry Redknapp, you go to, like you said, Sam Allardyce, you go to Alan Kervishley further back.
Oh
I don't
blimey,
think
that's digging a name out of the past.
I don't think anybody can truly say what the West Ham way was. Is it the West Ham way because Bobby Moore and Jeff Hurst played in the World Cup and Jeff Hurst scored a hat trick and Bobby Moore was the captain of England? But I don't know what the West Ham like. If Tottenham, I get the style. They want to play attacking football. Going forward, exciting,
Yeah,
getting
yeah, of
off the
course,
edge
yeah,
of the seats. United traditionally play with wingers, you
yes,
know, and overlapping fullbacks. I know at the minute we're playing this back five, and we'll talk about that later on.
yeah,
Um, the mishmash of Manchester divided, but it's just I don't actually know what the West Ham way is, and actually I think Nuno will do a good job. But are the West Ham fans going to be happy? One of the things I think one of the reasons West Ham fans aren't happy is because of the board and they don't particularly like the London Stadium.
yeah. I think I agree with you because at Upton Park everything seemed to be going pretty well. There was a good atmosphere as well. And the London Stadium is weird because obviously it's used for athletics, so you've got an athletic track, which just looks wrong, doesn't it, in a football stadium? I don't know about
And the
you, but
fans are miles away from the pitch.
yeah, exactly. I just don't think I just don't think you should have an athletics track in a football. I think a football stadium should just be a football stadium, but that's just my view.
Yeah, and also so maybe their frustration, assume because they're not happy with the because they're not happy with the stadium and the board, maybe it just comes out when the football, even if they're getting results, the football isn't brilliant football because they've got a very uninspiring stadium and a very uninspiring board, so they
I
end up
think it's
taking
probably a bit of both. I think yes, you're right. I think they're
the
not happy with the
frustration.
board and they're not happy with the stadium, but I think it is a bit of it's a combination of all three. I
Yeah.
think.
But then the frustration comes out on the managers because they're not happy.
Yes, yeah, yeah, exactly, yeah,
But what we're thinking of Nuno? Well, obviously he's got very different profile of players, really.
yes.
To the Forest, he hasn't got Alanga, he hasn't got, Hudson Odoi. Yes, he's got Somerville who can run, but they haven't really got legs in the team.
But did,
Um,
did did he not have did he not have the same kind of players when at Forest? Was it not different to when he was at Wolves though? Still.
well, at Wolves he had Neto, didn't he?
Oh, that's
Uh,
right.
he
Raul
had
Jimenez. Yeah.
he had Jota, who, God rest his soul, who could
Yes.
play
Yes.
on the flanks as well.
Yeah.
So he's always had speedy wingers, which is needed for because he plays compact football, when they break forward quickly.
Yeah.
But West Ham, he hasn't really. He's got a lot of technically good players, but not really got the pace to play on the break. So,
Right. Okay. Yeah.
you know, Somerville will run, but Bowen's not lightning quick.
No.
Um, obviously Paquetá probably will fill the Morgan Gibbs White kind of role,
Yes.
but they haven't really got an Elanga or a Hudson Odoi or a Jota Silva or
Yeah.
so. But what's your view? How do you think he'll do, Nuno?
I have a feeling Nuno will be relatively warmly received by the fans, and I have a feeling that he will do pretty well there. I think he'll definitely do better than Julian Locatelli, and definitely do better than Graham Potter. I think.
Yeah, and you think West Ham will survive?
Yeah, I don't think West Ham are going to go down. I think I think Forest ahead of West Ham to go down for me. Um, you
No,
know,
but Andrew's there.
yeah, I just think they're going to have a terrible season, and I just can't see it going well for Ange really. But West Ham won't go down. Yeah, they're not that bad. So yeah.
But the right, even though they did it in the wrong way, for you, just to clarify, the right decision to sack Graham Potter.
Yes, because his position was becoming untenable. You know, how long do you give it if the results are not improving? Football is a results business, and unfortunately, Graham Potter had to go. But yeah, the handling was awful of it. Just a complete mess, and they should be ashamed of themselves. The board, I'm not holding it back. Hold your heads
No.
in shame. Sullivan,
Yeah.
Brady, Gold, you're a disgrace. The three of you.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no wonder the West Ham fans don't like the board if they're handling the decisions they made. Yeah, no wonder they want them all to piss off.
Yeah. 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 No, I completely understand what you're saying there. Yeah, it's not it's not been great at West Ham for years.
Yeah,
So yeah, they're struggling.
yeah.
Um, but um, do you what next for Potter then?
Well, that's an interesting question because I said on this show last season that I think, Graham Potter, I think this will suit him down to a T. West Ham are a smaller club than Chelsea, so I think there'll be less pressure, and I think he'll do a good job as he did, with Swansea and Brighton, and it just completely, it just hasn't. He didn't do anything there, so I don't know, and it's funny, I was thinking about because I knew we were doing a show tonight, and what was I going to say about what I thought about Nuno at West Ham, and I don't know because my initial thought is that this club will suit Nuno. Oh, nice. Uh, this club will suit Nuno, and I, I don't know. I don't know really.
Yeah, so do you think Graham Potter will get back into management?
Yes,
And if so,
yes.
what kind of level?
Oh, what kind of level? I still, hmm, I don't know. Maybe might have to go to the championship, maybe, just to
Yeah,
sort of rebuild
like
his
Marco
career.
Silva did
Yeah, yeah,
with Fulham and bring
yes,
them back up after his Everton struggles. But yeah, it'll
yeah.
be interesting to see. Certainly, the magic never really arrived with Potter. He'll
You
have to
you
leave
you are
that to
really
Harry.
milking that. You're really milking that, aren't you? That
I am. I am. I mean, in all fairness, never like to see a manager lose his job, but I think if he'd been sacked after 6 games or 5 games as it was, having just come into the club, I'd be saying ridiculous, they're panicking, it's too early. But he's been here since January, and they've been pretty awful since January as well. So, you
God,
know,
yeah. Was it January since he came in? Wow. Yeah.
so we had a big sample of last season and the start of this, plus a pre-season. So
Oh yeah, yeah. I think
yeah,
they gave him enough time, but yeah, no, yeah, no.
but
Sadly, he had to go.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see, won't we, what happens on the pitch. That leads us on to our first feature game, which, surprise, surprise, involves West Ham. There's method to our madness because they were away on Monday Night Football to David Moyes, the former Hammer and Europa Conference League winner.
Yeah.
Um, David Moyes' Everton at the new Hill Dickinson Stadium. Still can't quite get my head around that. Every fibre in me wants to say Goodison
I
Park,
thought it was called
but
the Bramley Dock.
no, it's been built on the Bramley Moor docks.
Oh, I see. Oh,
But,
okay.
but the stadium itself is called the Hill Dickinson Stadium, which I didn't know are a firm in Liverpool till I researched it the other
Oh,
day.
okay, right.
Well, the stadium is on the water. In fact, part of it, I think, is actually in the water, but on stilts to keep it up, which is pretty amazing.
Blimey.
Um, I mean, Everton fans might be able to correct me, but it's certainly right next to the water, if not on the Mersey.
Yeah, yeah.
And Everton, to be fair, seem to have adapted into life in their new home pretty well. They started well. West Ham started a bit nervy. Obviously, Nuno said he wasn't going to change too much because he's only had 2 training sessions with the team. But it was a good start for Everton, and it was Michael Keane who scored in the first half with a bullet header.
The old header, and
Um,
he's still there.
yes, from a corner, or certainly a phase of the corner, and he's a bit like Gary Cahill, Michael Keane, in a way he gets lots of goals, good with his feet and his head.
Oh, right, yeah,
But
yeah.
but West Ham, um, showed signs of life, signs of promise, especially second half. I thought the new signing, the new midfielder, is it Gasteron? I think I've said his name wrong, but he had his first start and played very well.
So
I don't know why
maybe
he's not.
Potter's team selection maybe wasn't so great then, maybe.
No, I don't know why he didn't play him at all. It was his first start, and they brought this lad from Monaco, a central midfielder. Anyway, but Nuno threw him in. But of course, it was captain fantastic. The aeroplane himself, the Boeing. Uh, Equalising for West Ham with a lovely strike, um, cutting in. I hadn't really seen much of the ball all game, but when West Ham needed him, he was there. And it was a really good back and forth game. Both sides going for it. I think in the modern game, we see a lot of teams
Parking the bus,
passing,
exactly.
passing sideways and backwards and not really going anywhere. They pass each other to death at times. But you know, I thought both teams went for it, and in the end, Nuno will be happy. It was a 50-50 match. Obviously, West Ham were the away team, and a really good game, really competitive. Your thoughts on, just to go on the Bowen goal as well, I think there's some suggestion, I couldn't really tell from the different angles we showed on Sky on the Monday Night Football, but there's some suggestion it took a slight deflection, a shot off Keane.
I didn't see it if it was on Monday night. Yeah, apologies, I didn't see it.
No worries. But yeah, good point for West Ham.
Well, that's good, and at
Yeah,
least if you said they showed signs of promise, so at least hopefully that should be a sign they're on the right direction. And Nuno, things are going to look on the up, maybe with
yeah, he put
Nuno.
some youngsters on as well in the second half. He put Freddie Potts in midfield, who looked really bright and
Apologies, I've not
lively.
heard of him. Is he from the academy?
Yeah, his dad played a lot of games for West Ham. Paul, I think his
Oh,
name was
right,
Paul
yes,
Potts.
Paul Potts.
Oh
Yeah, I
no,
think I've heard of him.
no, not Paul. That's a singer, Paul
Oh,
Potts.
bloody hell, yeah.
I think he was called. Oh, it's
Oh,
funny.
yeah.
I think he was called David Potts, but yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Paul.
because Paul Potts was the first winner of Britain's Got Talent,
But
I think.
Paul, David, they're all the same. Anyway, Potts played for West Ham, and now Potts Jr. also plays for West Ham. Yeah, that was me stirring the pot. Um,
Yeah,
but
the critics will pan that.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, very good performance from him. I thought Crescencio Somerville was very lively.
Yes.
He's somebody that does have a lot of pace.
Yeah.
Um, I really like Paqueta. I've always liked him. I've always stated, and I state it again, he's a better player than Odegaard in a poorer team. Um, Works hard as well and has genuine world class quality.
Right.
I'm not saying he is world class, but he generally has that quality. Fulcrook was a decent sort of game. So yeah, positive signs. James Ward-Prowse was completely left out of the squad, and Nuno said that he understands. So I think he thinks that Ward-Prowse doesn't have the legs in midfield anymore
Oh, okay.
uh, to play for West Ham,
Well, of
and
course,
in the
Nuno will know Ward-Prowse's game quite well, obviously, from, playing against him as well. So, yeah.
Andy was on loan at Forest last year for the
Oh,
first
of
half of the
course. Yes, he
season.
was. Yeah, yeah.
Andy couldn't get a game, so he probably knew, Nuno didn't really play him, and then Graham Potter called him back and played him. So
Yes, yeah.
I don't think we'll be seeing much of Ward-Prowse. I do think his legs have gone a little bit. Tyler Dibling came on and looked lively. Jack Grealish looked lively again. Obviously, Ilian and Dyer really like.
Yes.
And the Idrissa Gana Gay at 36 years old is still going strong. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
amazing.
really good. Right, shall we move on?
Yep, let's move on. Yep.
Yep. So, our next game uh, was a cracker at three o'clock. We stay with a team from London and a team from Merseyside as um, Crystal Palace played at home to the unbeaten and 100% record slot machines Liverpool. But the slot machine wasn't quite working. It got a bit jammed in this game as Crystal Palace ran out 2-1 winners over last season's champions to prolong their unbeaten start to the season and end Liverpool's unbeaten start. So, uh, goals from Ismail Assar for Crystal Palace,
Good keeper.
and Eddie Nketiah in the 97th
I
minute.
know, that's pretty
It
extraordinary.
was enough to do the damage. Federico Chiesa in the middle of that came on and second half equalised for Liverpool. But Crystal Palace are now 18 games unbeaten in competitive games, stretching back to April of last season.
My God, that's
So,
amazing.
uh, so yeah, stretching back to April, which is May, June, July, August, is May 1, June 2, July, 6 months.
Wow, that's amazing. And of course, they won the Community Shield and they won the FA Cup as well. So,
Yeah, they beat Liverpool obviously at the start of this season in the Community Shield.
yeah,
But yeah, and absolutely annihilated Liverpool in the first half. Obviously, I couldn't watch this game live because it's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and Will's favourite rule, the 3 o'clock blackout rule, came into effect.
yeah,
So only the fans in the stadium got to see the game live.
yeah.
So, but your view on a dramatic day at Selhurst Park and where it leaves the two teams and maybe the league as well.
Well, my goodness, what a game. I was following this on Final Score and yeah, just absolutely extraordinary. And I think there was lots of added time added on because I think there was a medical emergency in the crowd. I think if I
There
remember
was.
correctly. So
There
that's
was in
why
that was in the first
that was in
half,
the
I think.
first half, yeah. So that was why it went to like 97 minutes. And yeah, just an absolutely extraordinary match. And credit to Oliver Glasner and Palace, and they've lost Eze, but they've just, and we said this last week, but they just seem to have just picked up where they've left off, and Mark Gay is obviously uh, still performing, like nothing's happened. So it just, yeah, and for Palace, I mean, this is special. To beat last season's Premier League champions
Twice
twice
in
exactly.
in 2 months.
Yeah, twice after winning the Community Shield, and
Less
this,
than 2 months.
I mean, special times at Selhurst Park, and this is, you know, I don't think Palace have had a higher point since this. I mean, Alan Pardew got them to the 2016 FA Cup final, but Glasner is doing something really, really special, and it's just absolutely fantastic. Now I know his contract's coming at the end of the season, expiring, but yeah, if I was part of Steve Parish, beg on your knees, please, please stay, because he is doing something special. Yeah.
Yeah, he's certainly a special manager for the time. I think that's really
Yeah, sort of.
well
It's
put.
a Glasner cherry on top.
Yeah, and he's glad all over. Glad is glad all over.
Yeah.
So Gladner all over. Yeah, and the Eagles are soaring.
Yeah.
But yeah, brilliant. Obviously, Sar's goal was a bit of a tap in on his return from injury, but yeah, and Eddie Nketiah's goal from a long throw in as well. How they've come back in fashion. We've not really spoke about this while I've been on the football show this season, but every Premier League team now pretty much seems to be using a long throw. Rory Delap would have had a field day, but yeah, it's really interesting how the long throws come back into the game. Just quickly on that, Will, where Palace's winner came from, your view on the long throw, the unsexy long throw, the the out of date long throw with all the data and all the passing, and yet long throws seem to be back in. Your
Well,
thoughts?
I guess it's like everything in like fashion. Things come in and out of fashion and then in again. So it's just an extension of that, and I'm not quite sure why long throws would be considered so dated. Yeah, I
Well,
don't know.
they're a danger, aren't they? They're a weapon to use if you know, to expose the team, the opposition
Oh well, yes, yes, because obviously, because you're throwing it long, and then yeah, it's much harder for them. Um,
to defend.
so yeah, I mean, it's bollocks clearly that it was no longer fashionable. You just use whatever means to win the game, as you should. You should use every tool at the disposal, not just the hammer. The hammer is many tools in the toolbox, metaphorically. So,
Yeah, and the hammer is a bit blunt at the minute, just as the hammers. Anyway, um,
but yeah, yeah, no, you've got to use whatever tools you have at your disposal to to win the game. Yeah, you have to be flexible. So, yeah.
obviously we've both seen the highlights, Will, and you're following it on Final Score, and I was following the games on Soccer Saturday, and I'm sure they were saying the same thing on Final Score and when you saw the highlights. But what got me was that so much was that in the first half, Crystal Palace battered Liverpool. They could have been 3 or 4 nil up, Palace at
Yeah,
half
in fact,
time.
they were. I think they were saying about that as well. So yeah, no credit to Palace for just really going for it. Against the top teams. You could maybe expect them. The easy thing to do would be to park the bus, wouldn't it, and make it tight and compact. But Glasner clearly didn't do that. Just right lads, let's go for it.
Yeah, and
And
Allison made 4 or 5 world-class saves for Liverpool to keep the score at 1-0 for that first half.
well, I'll tell you what, he is. I mean, Brazil are very lucky, aren't they? They've got Edison and they've got Allison, two of probably the best keepers in the world in the past couple of years. So
Two
yeah,
of the best keepers of all time.
uh, maybe yeah. Well, certainly.
Certainly in the top 20 of all time.
Maybe, yeah. Well, I mean, certainly the current era, but yeah, no, I think it's Allison. I mean, when he replaced Carrius, uh, just instantly, transforms Liverpool. Where would they be without Allison? Liverpool, Allison, yeah, massive player.
Yeah, well, you could have said that in this game. I mean, Arnie Slot said that after the match that Palace could have been 4-0 up at half time, and because Allison made all them saves, and obviously it was only 1-0 at half time, I thought Liverpool will score, and if they score, they could go on to win the game.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
to be
exactly.
honest, although they lost, you need a top goalkeeper to keep you in games, and Allison certainly did his
Oh, of
bit,
course you
which will
do.
put
Yeah.
them in good stead for later in the season, maybe if they can scrape something. But obviously, they did get back into it late on, thinking about the 85th minute through substitute Federico Chiesa. Um, and yeah, I just thought then, right, Liverpool are going to go on, put loads of pressure and maybe score again. I was hoping Palace could see it out for 1-1 at least, because that's the least they deserve.
Yeah, yeah.
But unlike most teams, will, in Palace's position, conceding so late, they didn't panic. They just kept going, and Liverpool fell asleep from a throw in before the actual throw in that they scored from, and then Kirk has booted it out for no reason, and then the long throw and a great finish, swivel and finish from Eddie Nketiah. So yeah, they certainly did come back, didn't
Yeah,
they? And
if I was Slot, I would leave Kirkers on the bench, and I think I would bring Robertson back, and I think Kirkers is still he's still too raw. I think he could do with just being eased gradually. Yeah, I think it was a
but I
mistake
mean,
starting.
credit to Palace, you must think for conceding in the 86th minute and then going for it again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think, we talk about the problems at West Ham, but what Glasner clearly has got is a good team spirit. You can have all the good tactics in the world, but you need good team spirit. And that's what he has. Clearly everything is really going well at Selhurst Park. And yeah, no,
And the players have mastered the system that he
exactly.
wants
Yeah,
to
yeah. The
use,
players have
the five
understood.
at the back.
Yeah, the players have understood what he wants to do, and that they're suited to it. And yeah, it just again a mixture of tactics and team spirit and enthusiasm and good morale. And yeah, no, it's brilliant.
Of course, I don't think they'll go down, and we've had this conversation. I think they'll win the Europa Conference League, but I do think that they could. They if they didn't have the Conference League this season, they could maybe finish in the top six.
Yes.
But I just think when that kicks in, they haven't really got a big squad,
Yeah, of
and
course,
if
and
they
they, and
get
they,
a few injuries,
and they've lost Eze as well. So yeah.
and if they get a few injuries, they could maybe slip to 12th, 13th. But even that with a European football would be, and winning the Conference League would be amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
imagine if they do go on to win the Conference League, then that would be the FA Cup, the Community Shield, and the Conference League, and yeah, just
in less than a year.
well, exactly, it would just be
Well, just
extraordinary.
about a year, won't it?
Like I said, before Glasner came in, the only really high point for Palace, well, certainly that I can remember, is Alan Pardew getting them to the 2016 FA Cup final. But Glasner is is going two steps beyond that. It's amazing.
Can Palace challenge for the Champions League or European places by the league, or do you feel that with the Conference League, when that kicks in every week, they will start to prioritise that, and once they're safe, they might slip a little bit.
I think they'll probably prioritise the Conference League because, like you said, they're not got a big squad, and yeah, I think they will probably do that. But yeah, I mean, they're certainly not going to go down to the Championship. Certainly not going to be relegated. Um, and as for
Mid-table,
I'm thinking maybe even 10th or 11th or something maybe.
yeah. So similar position to last season.
Yeah, I think so. I think Palace is still. I think it's still going to be a good season for them. So yeah.
And of course, they are now the only unbeaten side left, apparently, according to my dad. I'll have to check this, but the only unbeaten side left in the top four divisions of England.
Well, goodness me. I mean, credit to Oliver Glasner, credit to his team and his coaching staff, and credit to Steve Parish for hiring Oliver Glasner as well. So because it's not like
Well, I'm getting him because he won the Europa League with Frankfurt as
well,
well.
exactly, yeah, and it's not like he was a really big name, was it? So
And it's not like Palace are a massive name in England terms. All due respect to Crystal
yeah, no,
Palace,
no,
but
no, no, exactly. So yeah, credit to Steve Parish, credit to everyone at the club, and there just seems to be a really good feeling there, and that's what you want. You don't want all that toxicity that that West Ham have. It's not just about tactics. Like I said, it's about good morale and team spirit, and that's what you need for a club. It's more than just the tactics.
especially for a club that is punching above its weight. You
Oh
know,
yeah, yeah,
if you're gonna
exactly.
if you're gonna get the extra mile out of the players beyond the talent, it has to come from the camaraderie. I had it in Sale when I played for Sale United in the Premiership.
Yeah, yeah.
We were probably technically the worst team in that division, and but we survived for 3 seasons because we had a great team spirit, and we just refused to get beat by the teams we needed to beat. So
Exactly, and
yeah,
that is what you need. And Manchester United, West Ham, particularly those two that I'm picking, could could do well, could learn really from what Palace, a much smaller club, is doing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And just quickly, obviously Liverpool had won 5 out of 5,
Yes.
but you wouldn't say their performances have been sensational. And
No, they've just
spoiler
been
alert, but I'm
scraping
going to
through the
say
last few
they
months.
followed that up with a 1-0 loss
Yes.
last night in the Champions League to away to a good
Galatasaray.
Galatasaray
Yeah.
team. So where does this defeat to Palace and leave Liverpool? Is it a blip or is there something not quite right? Is it players not settling in? Is it
I
just
don't know. I think
what?
I would probably swap Kirkers for Robertson. I'd put Kirkers on the bench. He's still too raw. Robertson is still really, really good. Don't forget, with Robertson, they won the Premier League. They won the
Why
champion. They won the Champions League with him as well.
the
So
FA Cup, the League Cup,
yeah, exactly. So there's no risk.
everything?
I understood why they bought Kirkers because they're thinking, well, Robertson is getting on a bit. We have to look to the future. And yes, you have to do that. But actually, what I would have done, and I think this is actually Slot's big mistake, is throwing Kirkers in early because I know he's had 2 seasons in the Premier League with Bournemouth, but he's still young, he's still learning, he's still raw. Yeah, just introduce him into the fold gradually. Don't throw him in. And it's not like Robertson was performing really poorly. So yeah, drop Kirkus to the bench, put Robertson in, and yeah.
And but right, let's just I agree, but let's just get off the debate of Robertson and
Oh,
Kirkers for a second.
sorry, yeah.
I, no, you're right. You're right to bring it up, and I agree they need that experience. But in terms of Liverpool overall, they haven't hit the strides. Is it because of the new signings or
It could have
what?
been, although Nketiah has done very well, hasn't he? I also think,
But they've not played particularly well, have they?
yeah, I think defensively, I mean, you know, maybe in January they do need to go for Margay, again maybe, because
Because Canate's looks, Van Dijk's look good, but Canate's looks all over the place.
yeah. So I think, and Joe Gomez, you can't rely on him, can you? He's more on the treatment table than on the pitch. So
And he is ironically, Canate is out of contract at the end of the
he is,
season.
yes, again
And
because
if you look how he's playing compared to Gahey, maybe they could do in January a swap deal. Um, Gahey going one way and Canate going the other way.
well, I don't think Canate would want to go to Palace.
Well, you know, maybe he will. Maybe if Palace are flying
Well,
high,
yeah,
but we'll
I think Palace would take it, but I don't think Canate would want to go there. But yeah, no, I mean that is fair enough. But yeah, I think defensively is probably the one area. Yeah, they need to get another defender in for Van
And they
Dijk.
had a good partnership, didn't they, for a while, Van Dijk and Canate, but he has looked all over the place this year.
Yeah, and
Van
it may
Dijk's
be because
playing
he's
on his
distracted
own.
because his contract is coming to an end. But to be honest, look at my message to Canate. Look at Gay. Look at how well he's performing, and yes, his contract is coming to the end in the summer. So get your head together, get your head down, and start performing. Cut all this bollocks out.
Oh yes, he's on fire tonight. Blimey, I don't know what he had for his dinner, but TubeMix is absolutely mixing it big time.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, very good, very good. But Liverpool still favourites for the title.
Yeah, I think maybe they do need to change formation. Maybe drop Verts out as well, because he doesn't seem to have done particularly anything. Is that how you pronounce him, Florian Verts?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So maybe you need to drop him, maybe. And yeah, I don't know, because maybe he's not quite up to scratch yet. But Akete looks really good. Um, so
Well, yeah, and of course Isak is not fully match fit yet.
well, yes, and Isak. Well, that's his own fault for not playing with Newcastle as well. So yeah, Isak has only got himself to blame for that. So, but yeah, I still think Liverpool. If they don't win the Premier League, I think they might win the Champions League again, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. Right, well, we will see how that all goes, but
Yeah.
yeah, um, slot yourselves in and see how it goes if you're a Liverpool fan.
You are really getting all the analogies out, aren't you, tonight?
But you're on fire tonight, mate. Very, very good.
Oh, thank you.
But from one team flying high in the Eagles, who play with a back five and they're doing it very
Yeah.
well, to another side where the vultures are circling, and that is at Manchester United. They took on Brentford
Yeah.
in the early kickoff at the G-Tech Community Stadium, the home of Brentford,
Yeah.
and all we can say is it was a brilliant 3-1 win for
For Brentford,
the
yeah.
bees. And as for Man United, they continue to just drift towards the bottom of the league. Goals from Thiago after 8 minutes, a great finish, a long ball under the United defence though from Jordan Henderson, and then a comical goal actually. There was this mighty scramble to keep the ball out of the net.
Yeah.
And Buendia made a great save, and then another save that unfortunately landed at the feet of Thiago for him to score his second on 20 minutes. And Matthias Jensen completed the job on 95 minutes with a great solo
Another
goal,
late one as well, yeah.
cutting inside and whipping it past uh, Aita Buendia, who could only clutch at thin air. That those Thiago goals were, however, uh, split. But sorry, the third goal for Brentford came after Benjamin Sesko had pulled one back for Manchester United. But that does not tell you the whole story of the game, because while brilliant Brentford were flying like a butterfly and stinging like a bee, the bees, our great boxer Muhammad
Rumble
Ali.
Jungle George Foreman, yeah.
Thank you, Muhammad Ali, for that that analogy.
Yeah.
But the bees certainly stung. on Embuemo's return, but there was a controversial moment involving Embuemo and Brentford captain and former teammate Nathan Collins.
Yeah.
Embuemo, the ball came in from a cross in the penalty area, and Embuemo looked clean through, but was pulled back by Nathan Collins.
Did he grab his
The
shirt? I think I'm
referee,
just trying to remember.
the referee did award a penalty, but Dogzo, denial of a goal scoring opportunity, was not uh, was deemed not to be the case because the VAR said that Embuemo was not in control of the ball. Now, I'm a fair Man United fan, and I'm not. We didn't deserve anything out of the game on the way we played,
Yeah.
but at the time it was 2-1 to Brentford. Obviously, Sesko had pulled the goal back after that brace from Thiago.
But surely,
Um,
if someone's grabbing your shirt, then it's hard to control the ball. You know.
exactly. Well, VAR said that he wasn't in control of the ball, but he was clean through in the box, and if he hadn't pulled down, he would have got a shot away on goal. So how can you be in control of the ball if you're being pulled to the ground? So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, exactly. It's bullshit.
well,
Ridiculous.
we know what VAR's like,
Yeah.
and yeah. So, but a penalty was given. It took
Bruno
4.5
Fernandes.
minutes. It might have been 5.5 minutes, actually, but 4.5 minutes or 5.5 minutes for them to decide if Collins had committed a denial of a goal
Oh my
scoring
god, how can
opportunity.
it take that
So,
long? You should see if he's
so there was
grabbing the
no
shirt.
football played
Ridiculous.
for 5.5 minutes. Bruno Fernandes, obviously Man United's penalty taker, number one penalty taker when he's on the pitch, was standing over the ball, and yeah, took his penalty, but it was saved by Callagher, the
Former
Brentford
Liverpool
goalie.
goalkeeper, of course.
Yes, and yeah, but didn't Bruno didn't strike it very well. Obviously, it shouldn't have taken that long. But even if we'd have scored that penalty, and Collins had been sent off, we probably undeservedly, but could and maybe would have won the game. But I don't know if you saw the poll well, but it was blatant. He
I
had
did
all
see
the
it. I was like, oh come on, that is a penalty. They grabbed the shirt. It definitely is a penalty.
and it was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity because he was through on
Oh
goal.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. VAR should have accepted that. I just, even though they go to the the microphone, don't they now, and you can hear them explain it. Yeah, no, it's
I mean,
bullshit.
anybody could see that. I saw that once and knew that it was a blatant red card. I mean, some decisions are subjective. Even doxo can be subjective because you can say, well, can a man get back? And from different angles, it can look like somebody can and somebody can't. But Collins was the only defender back, and he pulled him down.
Yeah, so
So
it'd be the same if I grabbed your shirt, and you tried to, push away, then yeah, of course we'd
and
end
of
up falling
course,
to the ground.
anywhere else on the pitch, it's just a yellow card. But when it's a denial of a goal, clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, it's a red card. Anyway, I'm seeing the red mist. We're seeing the red mist here, let alone the red card. But ultimately, Bruno Fernandes missed the penalty,
Yeah.
or it was saved. I should say. And Brentford went on through Matthias Jensen to score a brilliant solo goal to compound Ruben Amorim's misery.
Yes.
Um, your thoughts on the situation there, and then we'll let Brentford have the last
No,
word.
I think no. I'm going to talk about Brentford. I think first because
Yeah,
before I work out what else to say that I've not said about United. I think this is a really big win. Credit to Keith Andrews, and don't forget, Brentford lost a lot of players, and of course Thomas Frank went to Tottenham. Christian Norgard, their
and
captain,
staff.
went to
He
Arsenal.
took quite a few staff with him as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So there's been a lot of change, a lot of upheaval at Brentford. And Phil Giles decided to, as Thomas Frank replaced Dean Smith, promote within. And yeah, Keith Andrews went from set piece coach to manager. And yeah, no, and I think this could be a really big win for Brentford and really get them kicking on now. And yeah, massive win, and yeah, credit to Keith Andrews really, and his team, and yeah, for just really going for it.
I thought it was interesting. Did you say that the Brentford CEO is called Phil Giles?
Phil
Is it?
Giles, yes, I think that's his name. Yeah.
Yeah. He said when Keith Andrews was appointed and they did a joint press conference
Which
that
is usually the
you
way,
know
yeah, when a manager's appointed, yeah.
but he said, in the sixties and seventies and eighties, Liverpool used to promote from within, and it's just not the dumb thing as much
Yeah, because
anymore.
I
Because
guess a lot of clubs hire, foreign managers, don't they, as well now?
but it's just not the dumb thing anymore. Where Brentford, well, maybe they wouldn't do that if a manager had not done very well. But Dean Smith, Mark Warburton, I think, was the assistant to the manager before him,
Okay, yeah.
uh, and Thomas Frank was Dean Smith's
I mean,
assistant.
Thomas Frank
But
did really, really well in
but,
his tenure.
but they have left those managers to go on to seemingly, and I'll put this in quotes, bigger jobs.
Oh
At the
yeah. Well, I
time,
mean, Tottenham are a bigger club than Brentford, aren't they?
and Villa are historically as
Yeah.
well.
Let's
So
not mess about. Tottenham are a bigger club than Brentford. It's a fact.
So, yes, you're on it today, buddy. But
I know, yeah.
so, but what I'm saying as well is if those managers had left and been sacked because they weren't good enough not to go to other
Yeah, I mean, of
clubs,
course,
then
there'd be a lot of clubs.
then maybe they wouldn't promote from within. But the
Exactly,
fact
yes,
that
because they'd realise,
but
okay,
the
if
fact that that's been so good for them means that they've just gone, well, let's keep going that way.
yeah, exactly. And for some reason, if it does start to go wrong under Keith Andrews, and then, then okay, okay, maybe it's not working, and we maybe need to try something else and don't promote within. But yeah, clearly
I
it's
find it quite refreshing. I find it quite refreshing
yeah,
now,
and
I
I
have to
think
say.
it's also good for players. It's good for continuity as well because they already know they already know, because Keith Andrews was set piece coach, so they already knew him, and they were familiar with him. So it's good because you get less upheaval and good for continuity. There's more advantages than disadvantages to what they're doing.
Yeah, and obviously they lost their two main players, three actually, in the captain, Norgard, and Buomo and Visser all in the same
Yes,
transfer
yes.
window. and had a new manager, and Thomas Frank took all his staff with him
To
or a
Tottenham,
lot
yeah.
of, not all of them, but a lot of them to Tottenham.
Yeah.
So yeah, will Brentford survive, or
Oh yes, yes, they'll survive. Yeah, they're not going to go down. Um,
you don't think they could start to falter
no,
now?
no, I don't think so. I think it's going to be. I think Keith Andrews will do a similar place position than Thomas Frank did in the previous seasons. I still think Brentford have got more than enough, and
Yeah, I think his remit for this season with what they've lost would be to avoid relegation.
exactly, yeah,
Because it wouldn't under Frank it would if they'd have kept him Wimmo and Visser or maybe one or the other, it would have been to try and get into Europe. But I just think with all the upheaval for this season, the aim has to be to avoid relegation.
I agree, and I think they'll still finish in the
And
top
a
half
good
of the
cup
table.
run maybe. And a good cup run maybe.
Exactly, yeah. So I think they'll still finish in the top half of the table. Maybe, maybe ninth, maybe something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'll finish that high this year, but I do think they'll survive it, and it'll
Okay,
be
well
seen as a good job.
maybe
It'll
12th
seen
then.
as
Maybe 12th.
it'll be seen as a good job because of the upheaval. I think they'll finish 15th,
15th. Okay, I think they'll finish 12th.
but it'll still be seen as a good job because of the
Of
upheaval
course,
that
yeah.
they've had.
Yeah, I agree.
And a word as well on Tiago. Now I don't know if you know this, but uh, Brentford brought him in the summer of 2024, so a year ago,
So he was
and he
playing
got
under
injured.
Thomas Frank bought him then, yeah.
And he got injured in a pre-season
Oh, that
game
was
and
right.
broke his
Yeah,
leg
yeah.
for a whole year.
Which must be
Or
so must
he
be
may
so
have done his
terrible.
ACL.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but he was injured for a long time. So it's good. So they've almost got a new signing
Well,
there.
exactly, and I suppose that's a kind of a positive of, a new signing, like Ewan Timber, for example, in his first season for
And
Arsenal.
at least they already had him in the building. You know, even though Visser and Mbeumo left, they didn't have to go out and spend loads of money because I know they brought with Tara in,
Yeah.
but they didn't have to go and spend loads of money because they already had somebody in the building who hadn't played.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, exactly.
maybe if he'd have played with a front three and he'd done really well last year, he would have gone as well, and then they would have been scuppered.
Yes, I mean, yeah, it's funny to think of, what ifs and alternative scenarios, but yes, I mean, it's a blessing in disguise, really, and yeah, I think that's a
With the
really,
way things panned out, yeah.
yeah, I think, but yeah, like I said, it is like a new signing, and maybe Thiago will be able to sort of hit the heights. I mean, I don't want to compare him to Wissa, and I think that's what I get really mad about the press, comparing. Oh, it's the next so and so, the next Neymar. No, don't do that. You don't help players. It's you just pile them more pressure. It's terrible doing that. You damage players' careers, I think, because of that.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. So, um, yeah, and as for Man United, I am not gonna say too much just because we've said all that needs to, we've said we've done United to death, well, although I will say Manchester divided.
Yes.
But I think Ruben Amorim you know, is walking a tightrope and
He is, and I
will
think
be
the next game it's Sunderland, then it's the
at
international break,
home.
yeah, and then after the international break, who have they got? They've got Liverpool.
I can see us losing both of those, or drawing against Sunderland and losing at
Yeah,
Liverpool.
exactly. I think
And
if
then,
Amorim, and they were saying this on Final Score, and I agree, if they lose to Sunderland, that would be a newly promoted team. Let's not forget from the Championship, if they lose to Sunderland, then surely.
but you know what, Will? I wouldn't be shocked if we lost to
Well,
Sunderland because
exactly. I mean, no one's shocked, are they, anymore? You know, I mean, losing to Grimsby Town, for God's sake, in the first round of the Carabao Cup. So, I,
I mean that can happen. I remember that can happen that to any club, but it's the regularity of it happening. You know, anybody
okay,
can
but
go in the cup
it's
game.
pretty rare, though, isn't it? Though it doesn't happen
Yeah,
often.
but anybody can go into a cup game and lose. But then that wouldn't be an issue if we were playing well in general. But it's happening over and over again. It's like Groundhog Day, and he won't change his
Oh,
system.
exactly.
Anyway, even though we're not got the players for it, somebody like Glasner has got the players for it. But anyway, we won't get bogged down on that because we've done that to death on this show. So, without further ado, are you ready for me to read out the other
Oh,
Premier
yeah,
League
yeah, of course,
scores?
mate. Yeah, go for it.
Nothing else you want
No, no, I think
to
otherwise we'd
say?
just be retreading over old ground for United. But
You are on fire tonight, though.
thank
I
you.
think we'll have to. Yeah, absolute fire.
Well, I've
Flames
got to
coming
sort of
out.
bring the drama, filling the Jordan Eartham shaped hole. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, no,
absolutely. Um,
maybe I'm filling your hole up actually. Yeah, because you often, bring the sort the fieriness. So yeah.
absolutely. Right. So the Premier League results, everyone. Um, it finished Brentford 3, Manchester United 1 in the early kickoff, as we have been discussing.
Yeah.
Leeds were 2-1 up at Brentford, thanks to
No,
goals
no, no,
from
no, not
Joe.
Brentford. No, they were playing United.
Sorry, no, Leeds were 2-1 up against
Yeah,
Bournemouth. Sorry,
yeah.
uh, before Bournemouth staged a late comeback goals for the home side from Joe Rogan and Sean Longstaff, of course, formerly of
Yeah.
Newcastle. Um, for Bournemouth, goals in the 26th minute from Antoine Semenyo
Who else?
and and EJ Karupi scoring the equaliser. I think I've said that right. In the 93rd
We've
minute.
had a lot of late goals, haven't we? I've noticed.
Yeah, there's been an awful lot of late goals
Yeah.
so far this season. Moving down the list, and um, Chelsea had a man sent off once again. That man this time was Trevor Chalobah, as they sank. They were feeling the blues again as they lost 3-1 at home to Brighton. Goals from Danny Welbeck, brace in the 77th minute, and the 100th minute, um, alongside a goal in the 92nd minute from Decamper for Brighton. Enzo Fernandez had given Chelsea the lead before the Trevor Chalobah sending off, heaping the pressure on
Enzo
Enzo
Maresca. I
Maresca.
don't think he'll get
Right.
sacked though, Maresca.
No, I very much I very much doubt it. You can't blame him for that because they've just had men sent off that have been
Well,
very,
exactly, yeah.
very, very silly and just not, not done the team any favours. Right, uh, Burnley played Manchester City at the Etihad, um, and took a shock lead through who else? Jaden Anthony. I think that's his fourth goal in 4 games.
Oh, that's
Um,
brilliant, Finn.
be- Before uh, S2E04 scored an own goal in the 12th minute and then another own goal in the
I know. I can't think
65th
of many
minute.
players, sorry to interrupt you, that have scored two own goals in a match. Oh dear. A day to forget.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot he could do about them, I have to say. Um, but Mateus Nunez rubbed salt into Burnley's wounds in the 61st minute. Before I'd taken a gamble because I'd watched the press conference of Pep Guardiola who said Erling Haaland was going to be fit. I told you to check your fantasy football team well
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
didn't.
no, that was me having another cock up, and yeah.
But he nearly didn't get me that many points. But he came late to the party, scoring in the 90th minute and 93rd minute. I'm never happy when a City player scores, but
Haaland is
I
one of those
have to.
players that you've just got to applaud and say, all right, yeah, you're top quality player though.
Yeah, I just, he's a machine, isn't he? He just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah,
Um, Crystal Palace, as we've been saying, um, beat Liverpool 2
yeah.
1. Goals from, I'll go through the goal scorers again, Ismail Assar, and a late 97th minute winner from Eddie Nketiah. Um, Cam, uh, um, the goal from Saar had been cancelled out for a late strike through Federico Chiesa before a dramatic late winner.
Yep.
Um, this was interesting. Nottingham Forest nil, Sunderland 1. Uh, really, Big Ange still looking for his first win
That's really quite
as
embarrassing, isn't it? By the way, a newly promoted team.
Nottingham Forest manager, but he did have some complaints, and rightly so, about this goal. Uh, a free kick was given against Nottingham Forest for diving from one of their players. I can't just remember right now who that was, but it was on the replay. It just seemed like it wasn't a dive that was contact, but it was just play on. But he gave a free kick
Right.
and a
Okay.
yellow card to Nicolas Dominguez. It was before Granit Xhaka's free kick found the centre half Aldate in the box, who finished was the fox in the box, and finished with a
I
plum.
know we've said it before, but Xhaka's transfer to Sunderland must be one of the most shocking transfers that no one saw coming.
Yep, he played well as well, very
Well,
well.
he's a good player, isn't
Um,
he, Xhaka? And he knows the league as well from his years at Arsenal. So
yep, and he seems to have, you know, seems to have matured as well.
yes, exactly.
My phone's playing up here a little bit, but we will carry on. Tottenham, high flying Tottenham, played the team bottom of the table looking for their first point anywhere. Uh, in Wolverhampton Wanderers that they had played well in previous games, and it was the visitors who struck first. Santiago Bueno scoring in the second half after a goalless first half on the 54th minute before a goal from João Palhinha to break Wolverhampton hearts in the 94th
Another
minute.
late
So
goal as well, yeah.
another late show. Wolves' first win. Wait for a first win goes on. Right, let me
What a job Thomas
keep
Fraser's
moving.
doing though since he's took over at Tottenham though.
Yes, I mean obviously they lost to they drew against Bodo Glimt last night in the Champions League, coming in from again third game in a row behind, but it does show strength of
Oh,
character,
exactly.
even though they are they aren't playing at their best right now.
And he's
Sunday.
flexible. Sorry to interrupt you, but he's flexible in the way he can play as well. His tactics, Thomas Fraser.
Absolutely. Absolutely changes the shape, the
Exactly.
system, the style. They press well but defend well. But yeah, on to Sunday's games, and there was only two games in this one, due to there being so many games, three televised games on the Saturday. But in this one at Villa Park, it was a story of um, bottom, second from bottom at the start of play, Aston Villa against mid-table Fulham, and it was Fulham who got the lead through Raul Jimenez's header.
What a good
Um,
player he is, Raul Jimenez, by the way.
yeah, has come through a terrible injury. I
Yes,
always remember that injury at
horrible injury.
Arsenal
Yeah.
where he nearly lost his life. It was terrible.
God, it's scary.
But
Yeah.
he came back through it. Obviously, it took him a while to. He's probably never quite been the same player, but I tell you what,
Well, the
he's
fact he's
done
still managing to
remarkably.
play at all after that is, you've got to applaud
Yeah,
that.
he's done amazing and to play at such a high level.
Exactly.
But Raul Jimenez gave Fulham the lead, then came off with an injury. There was a penalty check for Josh King, but the Fulham Academy graduate, but that was waved away and he got a yellow card for simulation. Again, I don't think that was the right decision. I think it was no penalty, but it wasn't simulation either, so just play on.
Right.
Uh, Ollie Watkins, go on, Will, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Ollie Watkins, though, who is out of my fantasy football squad entirely because of his poor form,
Yeah, and I
but
dropped him as well. I need to put him back in.
typically he scored an equaliser in the 37th minute. Then John McGinn scored in the 49th minute to give Aston Villa the lead before the comeback was complete by Emi Buendia, who also had a terrible injury about a year ago, just over 2 years ago, and then was on loan last season. But he's a player I really like. So a much needed win for Unai Emery. I wonder if he is a candidate to replace Ruben Amorim if
Well,
and
I don't
when
know. He
the
didn't do well
time.
at Arsenal, though, Emery, did he?
Yeah, but that was years ago. Um,
Yeah, but it might not be that
right.
he might suit. It might be too big of a club for him, really.
Maybe no, yeah, I'm not so sure about that now. I think he's a top
Oh
manager.
yeah, yeah, but
Anyway,
Sevilla is a different club to Barcelona and Real Madrid, though.
yeah, and he won the Europa League 3 times, 4 times.
Well, yeah,
But
okay,
yeah,
yeah, fair enough.
and got Villa back into the Champions League. But I'm not disagreeing. I just think that's a bit of a, you're talking about something from 7 years ago,
Okay, yeah,
and he
well, that's
didn't
just
do
my view anyway.
he didn't do that bad at Arsenal. He didn't do terrible.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, fair enough.
so so yeah, so
He
that's
still,
you putting you back.
he still got sacked though, didn't he? Though.
He did, but he didn't do that bad, and then he's gone on and done
Oh yeah,
brilliant.
I
So
agree. He's
I
he's
always
better
think
with Villa. Yeah.
I always think it was going to be hard following Arsene
Oh, of
Wenger,
course, yeah, like
but
a poison chalice.
Arsenal, Arsenal got it right pretty quickly. As for Man United, we've gone backwards. Anyway, on to the Gunners, and they were away at a lively St James's Park. And if you like late shows like this one, which is going to be a late show, the late show of goals continued. Nick Voldemort, I can't, Voldemida, I think you say it Voldemida actually.
At least you
Nick,
didn't say Voldemort.
I nearly said Voldemort,
Oh
but
God, that would have been funny.
Nick Voldemida, I don't know why it's Voldemida, scored in the 34th minute
It
to
seems
make it, I
so.
think,
Sorry to interrupt you. He seems to do pretty okay there.
yeah, yeah. He's scored 2 goals in 3 games and not been there that that long. Arsenal look to be heading to defeat, which would have been a massive blow for their title ambitions already, with leaders Liverpool losing. But Moreno rescued them in the 84th minute to look like they'd sealed a point. But Arsenal weren't done there, going to the end, and Gabriel scoring a header in the 96th minute to break yet more hearts, this time Newcastle hearts, to give Arsenal all 3 points. They stay second in the table. They close the gap to Arsenal, to Liverpool, to I think 2 points.
Yeah.
And yeah, game on. Uh, Good victory there. And then, as we have spoke about the battle of the hammer, the new hammer against the former hammer, as Espirito Santo's new West Ham side took on David Moyes' Everton, the former Hammers boss, and it was a 1-1 draw in this one. Michael Keane scoring from a header in the 18th minute. Before Jared Bowen for, we think, a deflection from Michael Keane, scoring in the 65th minute. And that completes your Premier League results. Now, I suggest,
Yeah.
Will, we go, if you're happy, we go straight on to Championship,
Oh
League
yeah,
One and
yeah,
League
yeah.
Two.
Okay, mate.
The
Yeah.
EFL results, I'm feeling
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Um, if you are, I'll just read the results. As we were saying, we have not got the EFL guru with us, JLI Wheels
Yeah,
Jordan. So,
he's doing an Isak. He's going on strike.
yeah, he's going on strike. It's the threat of these brick cards,
Yeah,
that's what it is.
oh, he's refusing to play.
He's not got his work permit.
Get your
So,
backside on,
uh,
Jordan.
Say again, buddy?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, get your backside here, Jordan, soon.
Absolutely. Right, there's been EFL scores, so let me go back to the weekend
Yeah.
scores, because there was a midweek round of fixtures which we will not go into.
Yeah.
I will just read the results out. If you are an EFL fan on this show, Jordan will be back very, very soon, and we will do a full EFL roundup
Yeah.
so far of the season with all the talking points and managerial
Yeah.
changes. On the Friday, going to the results though, and the biggest talking points on the Friday. So that was last Friday. It seems ages ago now. The weekend kicked off with a derby, Midlands derby, as Ryan Mason's West Brom took on Leicester City, and this ended in a 1-1 draw. I watched that game; it was a good game.
Right.
Uh, Another game that will please Jordan on the Saturday is his love of his life, Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard's Coventry beat Birmingham 3
Now,
0. Birmingham
what are you
also.
thinking, by the way? I bet you're eating your words, aren't you? They're doing better
No,
than.
no, I didn't say he was bad. I just said they won't go up anytime soon. So, and that'll be a failure because that seems to be what Frank does in management. Um, that's my opinion. Great player, nothing against him, but yeah, as a manager, mediocre.
Yeah, okay,
Um,
fair enough.
so so 3-0 they beat the wealthy Birmingham, but Birmingham did have a man sent off. Honours were even between the racecourse ground, the home of Wrexham, of course. They played Derby, and that was a 1-1 draw. Speaking of 1-1 draws, it was the same at another Welsh side going from North Wales to South Wales as Swansea City drew with Millwall 1-0. Ipswich got a vital win as under pressure Kieran McKenna beat Portsmouth 2-1 at Portman
Good
Road.
on Ipswich for keeping Kieran McKenna, by the way, because some clubs, well, a lot of clubs, as soon as they go back to the Championship, they sack the manager. But good on Ipswich
Mind
for
you,
keeping McKenna.
he had got them up two leagues in 2 years.
Well, yeah, yeah. I'm just
But
saying, credit to them for keeping him. So yeah.
yeah, yeah, because it was an underwhelming season last
Yes, it
year by
was. Yes.
nearly promoted teams, which you can't say this year because all three promoted sides have done quite well,
Well,
especially
Leeds, it's debatable, but Sunderland.
they got a point again at the
Well,
weekend.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
they,
but before that they were struggling. So no, I can't. You can't say Leeds having a good season yet.
neither of Burnley then on that.
No, I think Burnley have done. Burnley have been doing better than Leeds anyway. But
Hang on, the Leeds are above Burnley in the table.
okay, well that. Oh, okay.
How can you say they've done better if Leeds are higher?
Oh, okay. You got me there.
Watch the football. I think Leeds are 12 and Burnley are 18
Oh, okay, right.
or something like that. Anyway, they've all done pretty well and been competitive. Back to a manager that I really don't rate as much as I wasn't sure about Daniel Farker in the Premiership with Leeds. I'm not sure about this manager in the Championship. Charlton Athletic, who I think may have been newly promoted this season, beating Blackburn Rovers 3-0 at home. Valerian Ishmael will be looking in his mail soon for his sack letter. Um, Southampton. played Middlesbrough. High flying Middlesbrough. Rob Edwards, speaking of good jobs, he did a great job at
That'll be
Luton.
Noel Gallagher's
They
next band if the Oasis tour doesn't go well. That'll be his next band.
who will?
I was just joking because Noel Gallagher's band was Noel Gallagher's High Flying Bird, so you were saying High Flying Middlesbrough. Never mind, just continue on.
Alright, fair enough. So we'll still Southampton side drew 1 each against Rob Edwards. Middlesbrough. Fair play to Sheffield Wednesday. They have had all sorts of off the field problems, players not getting paid.
Yeah, what a
Their
shambles.
manager Danny Roll leaving, but they are some players leaving as well for nothing and being able to leave because they weren't getting paid. But they drew 1-1 at QPR and they're doing actually very well. A crisis can pull you together. Stoke City also drew 1-1 with struggling Liam Manning's Norwich. Precious away point there though. It was a stalemate and a goalless draw as Preston drew a blank against Bristol City, 0-0 there. Watford got an important win 2-1 at Vicarage Road against Hull City. And Oxford United were beaten by Sheffield United. Their first points, I think, of the whole season after, I think it's 7
Chris
games.
Wilder return as well.
Chris Wilder side winning 1-0 there. Let me just check that is the end of the championship scores. Bear with me.
Okay.
Bear with me. Sorry about this. Let me just double check where we are at. Yeah, that is the end of the championship scores for the weekend. I'm pretty sure Sheffield United. Oh, that's gone into yesterday. Middlesbrough 1, Charlton Saturday. Yep, and then we go on to yesterday. So that completes your championship scores. Let me just go to League One.
Okay.
Obviously, it's a little bit confusing as teams also played yesterday in the EFL, which for a visually impaired person doesn't help, but we will cope. Right, let me go back to Saturday. Here, right. Saturday 20th. Saturday. Yep, got it right. So, in League One, Leyton Orient played at home against Stevenage, and it was a cracker, this one, as Orient were beaten by the away side 2-3.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good game then, it sounds like.
Wimbledon, AFC Wimbledon, beat Wickham in the Battle of the W's 2-1.
Wimbledon were wombling free.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't sure if I was
home
to
event.
explain that to you, but yeah, you get it. That's good.
Yeah. Burton Albion were comprehensively beaten at home by relegated Plymouth Argyle. They were relegated at the end of the last season,
yeah,
of
they had
course.
a shambles of a season last season.
The manager did quite well that came in at the end.
Yeah,
Anyway,
Muslich, was it? his name. Yeah, that had to
Yeah,
leave. Yeah, that was right. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Burton nil, Plymouth 4. In the battle between Wigan and Cardiff City, Wigan, the home team, had a man sent off, and Cardiff City won 2-0. Northampton were 2-0 winners at home to Bolton. Stockport continued their good start to the season with a 1-all draw at Reading. At home to Reading. Barnsley lost at home to the Vale Scum 2-0.
As soon as I saw that
The, le-
final score, I was like, oh, Sam will be so
the,
disappointed.
the less said about that, the better. On a brighter note, well, not if you're a Peterborough fan, they got beat 3-0 at home by Lincoln
Oh
City.
dear.
Exeter continued the home struggles as they got beat 1-0 by Huddersfield, who were the away side. Back on home turf, Mansfield got a win 2-1 against Rotherham. Luton Town kept the home run going with a 1-0 win against Doncaster. Grant McCann's Doncaster. Bradford, who have been one of the surprise packages this season, newly promoted and are right up there near the top of the league, beating Blackpool 1-0. And that completes your League One scores.
Okay.
Let me just find League Two. Some interesting scores there. Yeah, Bradford have started unbelievable,
Yeah.
considering they got promoted. Nick Powell, of course, is playing for
Former
Bradford
Stoke
now.
and United player, is it that Nick Powell?
Yeah, and Crew.
On Crew, yeah, okay, yeah.
He started at Crew.
Right,
That's where his career began
right.
with the Alex. Let me. Right. Uh, yeah, so we are on Saturday, the 27th of September, and a result that I will start with gladly, and it's right at the top of the list here. Um, Crew Alexandra beating Notts County 2-1 at the Mournflake Stadium. I was there. I enjoyed our performance. There's elements we're still in to improve, but
You can
yeah,
you,
Mickey
you can
Dimitri.
clearly see a template there.
Yeah, Mickey Dimitri giving the Railwaymen the lead before Notts County's equaliser. But
What was the
then,
atmosphere like, by the way? There was it a good atmosphere?
yeah, it was actually it was really good. Yeah, Mickey Dimitri giving them the Railwaymen the lead after 8 minutes. Um, a terrible mistake from for me from Tom Booth, the goalie, kicking the ball long with only a minute of injury time left in the first half, when I thought we could have kept the ball,
Oh
and
dear.
Notts County won the knockdown and played the way out and scored the equaliser through Tazarula. Before who else? Josh Marsh again. Josh Marsh again. Josh Marsh again. Way away. Scored the winner for the Alex in the uh, I think 93rd minute, which was a penalty, and it definitely was a penalty, and he buried it after we squandered two penalties against Barnet a couple of weeks
Yeah.
ago. I bet Lee Bell lost his Barnet over that on that day. Anyway, I thought I'd give you an exclusive on that as I was there.
Yeah.
Sticking with the northwest of England, and Barnet, Oldham played Barnet, and it was a 1-1 draw there in Oldham. Sticking with draws, Tranmere drew with Cambridge 0-0. Chesterfield beat Newport County 4-1 at home. But if you think that was a high scoring game, Chesterfield beating Newport 4-1,
Oh wow,
or Newport County, I should
what's the
say.
next high scoring game then?
Grimsby 7, Cheltenham Town, who were bottom of the league and had a man sent off in this game, 1.
Seven. My goodness me. Wow.
Grimsby beating uh, struggling Cheltenham 7-1,
Not just
obviously helped
beating
by
them,
that
but putting them to the sword. I know it's so cliche, but
bumping them,
yeah.
yeah. But obviously they did have a man sent off Cheltenham, and they are currently bottom of the league,
What a
struggling.
season Grimsby
So
are
I'm sure,
having, by the way. Amazing.
yeah. David Artell, ex-crew
Yeah, I
manager.
know, yeah.
Um, anyway, Gillingham couldn't find a way through against Harrogate Town, and Harrogate Town, the away team, won 1-0 at Gillingham. Shrewsbury, or Shrewsbury, depending on what side of the River Severn you're on. I like to keep all our viewers happy, although they won't be happy, the Shrewsbury fans, because they were beaten 2-1 at home by MK Dons. Fleetwood uh, got a home win, beating Colchester 4-2 in an
Goodness
entertaining
me,
game.
wow. That sounds like a cracker.
4-2, yeah, not quite there yet, not quite at Christmas crackers, but we're not far. Um, Bristol Rovers beat high flying Salford 2-1. Salford did have a man sent off. Swindon beat Bromley 2-0. Crawley Town lost 2-1 at home to
I saw
Barrow.
that on
Way.
Final Score. They had it at the video printer. I was thinking, oh yes, Sam will be jumping for joy. He'll be loving this.
And Accrington Stanley played at home against Walsall, who I still can't get my head around, are in League Two because they were 15 points clear of Walsall at Christmas last year and ended up not going into the playoffs on the last day of the season and not going up. But Walsall were in winning ways here as they beat the home team 3-1.
Wonderful winning Warsaw.
Yes, well, it was wonderful, woeful Walsall after being 15 points clear and failing to get promoted at the end of last season, but they seem to have shaken that off now. And that completes your EFL results for this week. There was another game week that's just taken place tonight and last night, over tonight and last night. So please check out the results there if you haven't already. Right. Well, on that note, um, that completes us for today. Well,
Yep.
anything you want to bring up on the channel
Not that I
coming
can.
up? Anything to
No, not that I can think of, mate. No, it's been a good show. Really enjoyed it to you, and really enjoyed doing it with you. And yes, see you next time. Take us home.
Yes. So, thank you for joining us on this evening or whenever you watch the video. It's been a great show tonight. Again, the two of us, so bear with us, especially with the EFL. But when we have Mr. Guru
Come on,
himself
Jordan, get
back,
back here.
yes, that is a hurry up from the man whose channel this is on, TubeMix, who, by the way, we are volunteers. So, yes, he needs to bear that in mind. But anyway,
I
um,
said it in a joking way. Yeah, love you, Jordan. Can't wait
I
for you to
know,
get back.
I know, I'm joking with you. Anyway, if you have enjoyed the show and do enjoy these shows, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the TubeMix YouTube channel, where you will also find lots of other brilliant content that this man has done over the years. Um, and don't forget, we are now not streaming on Spotify now. So, yes, please do go to the TubeMix YouTube channel if you were a Spotify listener. Right. Well, we are done. And of course, as usual, it's been all without having kicked a ball. Thank you to my co host,
Thank
Will,
you. Good
and
night.
I have been Sam Taylor. Good night.